Before he became a global icon, before his voice carried the message of love and revolution across continents, there was just a barefoot boy, running through the dusty hills of a tiny Jamaican village called 9 Mile. No spotlight, no fame, only dreams, rhythm, and struggle. This is where the legend of Bob Marley began, a story not of riches, but of roots, deep, humble, and unbreakable. In the rolling green hills of St. Ann Parish, a small village called 9 Mile cradled the beginnings of a legend. It was here, on February the 6th, 1945, that Robert Nesta Marley was born to Cedella Booker, a spirited young woman of African descent, and Norval Sinclair Marley, a white Jamaican of British roots. Life in 9 Mile was simple but harsh. Wooden houses, dirt roads, and endless fields of sugarcane shaped Bob's early memories. He grew up surrounded by the rhythms of nature and the soulful sound of Jamaican folk tunes drifting through the valleys. In that simplicity, music became his refuge, a way to speak to the world even before he knew it would listen. The warmth of his mother's voice and the echoes of distant drums stirred something deep inside him. From the start, Bob saw music not just as entertainment but as connection, a bridge between joy and pain. These hills would later echo through his songs, carrying the essence of his beginnings to every corner of the earth. Cedella Booker was more than Bob's mother. She was his first teacher, his guardian, and the flame that kept his dreams alive. She sang hymns and folk songs while working, and little Bob listened closely, feeling the rhythm in every heartbeat. Without his father's steady presence, Cedella raised her son alone, teaching him humility, faith, and resilience. Life was tough, but Cedella believed in hope. She taught Bob that music could heal the soul and unite people, no matter their struggles. From her, he inherited not only his voice, but also his strength. When storms battered their roof and money was scarce, Cedella's laughter filled their small home. She would say, "Sing, Bobby, sing your troubles away." Those words became a guiding light. In later years, when Bob spoke of unity and redemption, echoes of Cedella's lessons could still be heard. The mother who sang through hardship gave the world a son who would sing through history. When Bob turned 12, Cedella made a brave decision to leave the hills of 9 Mile for Kingston's Trench Town. The bustling city was alive with sound, laughter, reggae beats, shouting vendors. But beneath the rhythm lay hardship. Poverty ruled the streets, and life was a daily fight for survival. Yet it was there Bob discovered the heartbeat of his people. In Trench Town's narrow alleys, he met kids who dreamed big despite having little. Music was their only escape. They built guitars from wires and tin cans, turning scraps into instruments of hope. Bob's voice quickly stood out. Neighbors gathered around when he sang, saying he sounded older than his years, wise, soulful, prophetic. Trench Town molded him, transforming innocence into purpose. Here, he met friends who would one day form the Wailers, and help him bring the spirit of Jamaica to the world. In Trench Town, Bob met Bunny Wailer and Peter Tosh, three young dreamers united by rhythm and rebellion. They shared not just music, but a mission to give voice to the voiceless. In small rehearsal rooms filled with heat and laughter, they created songs that spoke truth. Their early music echoed struggle and defiance, messages wrapped in melody. Every note Bob sang carried stories of injustice, but also hope. Even as producers doubted their raw sound, Bob refused to change his roots. His lyrics weren't made for the rich, they were for the people in the streets, for the mothers, workers, and children forgotten by power. From the slums of Kingston, his music began to travel, spreading the fire of change. During his youth, Bob found not only rhythm but also revelation. In the 1960s, he encountered Rastafari, a movement that preached unity, peace, and spiritual freedom. To Bob, Rastafari wasn't just religion, it was a way of life. He began to grow his dreadlocks, embracing the natural symbol of identity and resistance. He spoke often about Haile Selassie, whom Rastas believed to be the living God. Bob's songs like "Selassie is the Chapel" echoed his new faith. It gave him purpose and a spiritual anchor. The guitar became his prayer, and the stage his altar. People didn't just hear his music, they felt his conviction. From this point on, every lyric carried a message beyond entertainment. It was redemption, faith, and love woven into rhythm. Behind the rebel stood a young man who loved deeply. Bob met Rita Anderson, a singer with a voice as sweet as the island breeze. Their connection was instant and spiritual. Rita understood his dreams and stood beside him through every struggle. Together they shared songs, faith, and a vision of love rooted in loyalty and freedom. Their union was not perfect, but it was real. Bob's songs of love, "Is This Love?" "Satisfy My Soul," carried the echoes of their story. Even in the chaos of fame, Rita remained his home. In every smile and lyric, you could feel the boy from 9 Mile who still believed in pure, simple love. By his early 20s, Bob Marley was no longer just a musician, he was a messenger. His songs carried calls for justice, peace, and love. He believed music could change the world, and it did. From "Simmer Down" to "Stir It Up," his lyrics spoke of resistance without violence. Every chord was a weapon of truth. In the studios of Kingston, he perfected the sound that would become reggae: deep bass, steady rhythm, and hopeful melody. People from every corner of Jamaica felt it. The boy from 9 Mile was becoming the voice of a nation. He didn't know it yet, but his message would soon reach the world and change it forever. As the 1960s drew to a close, Bob's journey from 9 Mile to Kingston had come full circle. He was still young, but his words carried the weight of a prophet. He sang not for fame, but for freedom. In his songs, people heard their own pain, their own dreams. He once said, "My life is only important if I can help plenty of people." That spirit of service defined his entire life. From the small boy in 9 Mile to the voice that shook the world, Bob Marley became a symbol of unity. This was only the beginning, the first chapter of a journey that would carry his message to millions across the globe.
To support, like and subscribe for more stories.